Oh, guys, just so you know, if you do have a video or something you want to show, you may want to set it up beforehand because it'll take a few minutes for everything to cut on before you get up there.
Last month, the New Orleans Saints celebrated their win in the Super Bowl with a parade down Poitras Avenue in downtown New Orleans. And when the camera showed everybody in the crowd, they kind of zeroed in on this one lady who had her baby, and the baby was decked out in all this Saint stuff. And she kept pointing at the camera saying, O-line, future Saint here, O-line. Now, to those who don't know, the O-line means offensive line. What she was saying was that, one day she hopes that her child grows up and plays football for the New Orleans Saints. Now, although that's an innocent comment, I'm sure it was, what it underscores is the fact that all across the country every day there's young boys and young girls who are being groomed at a very young age to one day hopefully become maybe paid professional athletes. But sometimes the kids who are the most gifted, they're singled out not just for athletic coaching, but they're also singled out to receive sometimes favoritism, and they're also singled out and they don't get the character lessons that everybody else has to get in life. Many of us have witnessed the downfall of gifted athletes who had all the physical gifts in the world, but they didn't have the proper character to make good decisions. So yes, proper character development is necessary for an athlete to have a successful life. Today I'm going to talk about where good character sometimes fails to sprout, how it affects the sports world, and how it affects an athlete's life. Millions of student athletes in America participate in athletics, and every now and then there's always those who stand out amongst the rest. I remember when I was in about 8th or 9th grade, I had a friend who was really, really good at basketball. He made good grades in school, nice kid, but he was really, really good at basketball. So one day when we were on the playground at school, the coach came up to him and asked him if he wanted to play on the team. Well, he said yeah, and he made the team, of course. But one thing that led to another is that while we were in school, sometimes the coach would arrange for him to miss a class 15 minutes early to come to the gym just to shoot baskets. Now, we didn't see anything wrong with that at the time, but when his mom found out, she freaked out. And she went and talked to the coach, she talked to the principal, and she let it be known that she didn't want her son missing class time just to go and shoot baskets. And it was good that she did. We didn't understand at the time, but it was good that she did that. But unfortunately, there's some kids who don't have those type of parents, that when the kids are extremely athletic, they can get away with almost anything. Pat Yasinkas wrote in an article in Sports Illustrated, he said that athletics have become such a big business that thousands of parents and coaches are looking to cash in on young talent. So yes, the image of above the law, antisocial, and sometimes catered to athletes, it eventually, and it's in some respects, it's tarnished how people look at major sports leagues. In the NBA, for example, in the NBA since 2005, which ironically is a year after the Kobe Bryant fiasco in Colorado, but the NBA started a fund, and since 2005, they've donated over $150 million to community outreach programs. Essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to clean up the image that people have of their league. In the book Guts and Glory, Making It in the NBA, the author wrote that he wanted to tell the story about people like Muggsy Bogues, John Starks, people who overcame tremendous odds and they worked really hard and persevered to make it in their sport, because they are actually a tribute to the sport that they play. But the fact is that the stories that many of us are often exposed to when we see about athletes, they're not the good stories. They're not the ones who actually build us up and inspire us. In the book, The Meaning of Sports, Michael Mandelbloom wrote that sports are supposed to teach discipline, teamwork, hard work, and perseverance. Yet, when many fans look at some pro players, they don't see any of these things. So yes, having character deficiency has caused some athletes to experience the worst that life has to offer. Recently, many of us, we probably either heard or we heard of the Tiger Woods apology. And I was just going to read an excerpt from his apology. He said, "I knew my actions were wrong." That's my Tiger Woods voice. "I knew my actions were wrong, but I convinced myself that normal rules didn't apply. I never thought that who I was hurting. I never thought about who I was hurting. Instead, I thought only about myself. I ran straight through the boundaries that a married couple should live by. I thought I could get away with whatever I wanted to. I felt that I had worked hard my entire life and deserved to enjoy all the temptations around me. I felt I was entitled. Thanks to money and fame, I didn't have to go far to find what I wanted." Yes, there's a long list of athletes who became public spectacles because they lacked the ability to make very good character decisions. So this is why character development is essential to a young athlete's life. Today I've talked about where spoiled athlete behavior begins, how it affects the sport that they're in, and how it can affect an athlete's life. As an ex-amateur athlete and a married father of two, I know that there are many good things that come with athletic involvement. But I also realize that it's important to make sure that young athletes get a good moral and educational foundation as well.